Welcome back to my channel mga ate, mga kuya. This is PuTo Mendoza in Canada. So, topic natin ngayon is, paano ka bang makakabili ng bahay in this crazy $1,000,000 market? So, dito sa Toronto, o Canada, halos lahat ng provinces, it doesn't matter where you go really, the housing market just went stupid crazy. If I'm not mistaken, palagay ko, we rank like way up there as far as one of the most expensive cities or countries to live in right now as far as real estate goes. Pero alam naman natin, mga gusto natin talagang, like our dream for ourselves or our family, the ultimate goal is to be a homeowner. Pero ngayon, if you just look on the internet and see what's available in the market, man, ang mahal-mahal, Like, for example, sa Toronto or Mississauga area, if you would like to get into the housing market, kailangan yung mga 1,000,000. I'm not even joking, So, long story short, pag-uusapan natin, imposible ba o meron bang paraan? Meron pa ring paraan, but it's gonna require a lot of sacrifice and kailangan nyong ibaba ng konti yung reality versus expectations or expectations versus reality. Kukwentuhan ko kayo my personal experience because nangyari sa akin to. Hindi ngayon, obviously, but nung nag-umpisa kami nung kabataan namin nung wife ko, we were in the same exact boat as the people now who are looking to enter the housing market. It's no different because dati, yeah, sure, medyo mas mababa ang presyo ng bahay, pero you have to understand, sweldo ng tao, mas mababa rin kumpara sa ngayon. So, certain sacrifices had to be made in order to achieve certain dreams, di ba? Problema kasi ngayon, mga tao, they're not as open to making sacrifices. They're not as open to being patient and allow the process to allow and believe in the process on how something like this works. Because I'll tell you, wala namang pangarap na nangyari overnight. Lahat ng pangarap, lahat ng goals, it takes time. It really does. You don't just think of, hey, you know what, gagawin ko to ngayon, and then resulta agad bukas. Especially the housing market. It's something na you have to work on. Anyways, before I get sidetracked, kukwento ko sa inyo yung nangyari sa buhay ko, sa buhay namin. So, nung early 20s ako, when I was in my early 20s, I already had a solid income working in the casino industry. I was making decent salary. I was still living at home at that time, but, not too long after I started working full-time and decided that this was going to be the career that I'm going to be immersed in, I decided that I should enter the housing market. So unfortunately that time, parang ganito rin ngayon, mahal talaga bahay, regardless of what time it is. May kamahalan talaga. Problema dati, it was the interest rate. So ngayon, it's typical to see a 5-year variable interest rate at around 1.5% or lower, and the 5-year fixed rate, hover around maybe 2.5 to 3%, depending on the financial institution that you go to. Dati, guess what? It was 5 to 6% sa bangko. So, kung isipin nyo, ngayon, yeah, 1,000,000 ng bahay, pero yung interest rate, halos mababa talaga, like 1.5 or lower on the variable. Dati, sure, mas mababa yung presyo ng bahay, Pero yung interest rate was like 5.5% to 6%, you know? So, it doesn't matter what you do. Yeah. Ang hirap takbuhan, yun talaga ang problema. Pag mataas yung presyo ng bahay, yung interest rate, mababa. Pag yung interest rate mataas, yung presyo ng bahay is mababa. So, obviously, at that time, nakatira ako dun sa bahay ng mom ko sa Oakville. And lahat ng kaibigan ko, lahat ng kilala ko, you know, was obviously in that area, like Oakville, Mississauga area. But unfortunately, I could not afford a house by myself dun sa area yun because at that time, a typical single-family home, I believe, was around $300,000 maybe. And I think I was making $45,000 a year when I was in my 20s working at the casino, and it wasn't enough. Especially kung bata ka, you know, you want the fancy cars, you want nice things. So yung budget mo is not exactly allocated to the things that it should responsibly go to. So what I did, and this is what I highly suggest that most people nowadays that are looking looking to enter the housing market, is lumayo kayo ng konti sa major hub. When I say major hub, what I'm referring to is Toronto. So dati, I couldn't afford to get to enter the housing market sa Oakville. So what I did was I looked farther, like farther. When I say far, I mean far. I looked for houses in Brantford. So at that time, bahay sa Brantford, you can get a single family home for like $100,000. And you know, at that time, like I said, when I was 20, in my early 20s, my salary was already like $45,000. So yeah, the math works out. But this is the sacrifice. I was willing to move away from my friends. I was willing to move away from my family. I was willing to move away from the area that I was very familiar with. I was willing to move away from the area where I grew up. That was the sacrifice that I made because I wanted to enter the housing market. So, my question to you, are you willing to make those sacrifices? Because it all comes down to that, you know? Like napapansin ko ngayon, people are complaining, they're saying, oh, ang mahal ng bahay, ang mahal ng bahay. My question to you, where are you looking? You know, if you're making, like, you know, X amount of dollars over here, but the housing market for you to be able to enter into it is like way up there, it doesn't match. You know, you have to find something that agrees with what you make. So, problema kasi, napapansin ko, like I said, most people that I hear are from Toronto, Mississauga, like where it's really, really expensive. And they make X amount of dollars and they wish to enter the housing market there. Pero the math does not agree. So, my question is, are you willing to make that sacrifice? I'm not saying that I am the model example. I'm not saying that I am the perfect example. But what I do know is what I did was 1000% logical. Like, I don't know if everybody is willing to make a sacrifice, to make that big of a sacrifice, but I did. And you know what? For a very long time, nothing happened in the housing market. Like, for decades, like, you know, sure, it went up a little bits at a time. It's only been in the last maybe 4 or 5 years that things just got really, really stupid. But regardless, given the situation that we have right now, kung gusto ninyo talaga magkaroon ng bahay, kung gusto ninyo talaga to become homeowners, kung gusto nyo talaga na to be able to enter the housing market, sacrifices have to be made. You know, nababasa ko lagi, and this is one of the sayings that I go by. You know, if you wanna gain something that you've never ever had, you have to do something that you've never ever done. So, sakripisyo lang talaga. So, you know, I hope I'm able to shed some light on how, you know, hopefully, I hope I was able to at least give you an idea on how to crack an impossible housing market. Pero like I said, take care of your finances and make some sacrifices, and nothing is impossible.